Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to start with another topic in 404, the application of animal cell culture technique. And today's topic of discussion is cell culture for the production of medicinally important compounds. Okay, how we can use this cell culture, animal cell culture technique for the production of some of the medicinally important compound. What do you mean by medicinally important compound? The compound which can be used for treating various diseases. That is known as the medicinally important compounds. So there is a list of medicinally important compounds which are synthesized in the animal cells which are there in the culture. Now, since it is medicinally important compound, I am going to give you a list of enzymes which are used for treating various diseases. There are a lot of enzymes which are synthesized in the cell culture, but your topic which is given in the syllabus is production of medicinally important compounds. So I am going to just tell you about the compounds which are produced in the cell culture for the treatment of various diseases. Okay, so whenever a person has an enzyme defect, if a person is having an enzyme defect, the disease can be treated by a therapy called as enzyme replacement therapy. Whichever enzyme is defective, that can be replaced. Thereby you can keep the disease under control, or you can treat the disease. Okay, so the 7 different enzymes I have given in the list, all these enzymes are used for enzyme replacement therapy. Okay, now the first one is DNase 1 enzyme, and you know what is the function of DNase enzyme. DNase enzyme is the one which will be used for the hydrolysis of DNA. Okay, now you will be thinking why DNA hydrolysis is needed for treating any disease. In the case of cystic fibrosis, you know what is cystic fibrosis. You would have studied in the previous semesters under many subjects. You would have studied about the cystic fibrosis. Okay, now, in the case of cystic fibrosis, that's one of the most common hereditary disease. Patients are susceptible to lung infection. Okay, so they will have a accumulation of mucus in the lungs and in other organs, and which makes breathing very difficult. Now, the major constituent of the mucus, any idea what is the major constituent of the mucus? The mucus is very thick, and you cannot use any common method to dissolve this mucus, because the mucus will have enormous amount of the bacterial DNA. Because in the mucus, bacterial growth will be there. When the bacteria undergo lysis, the bacteria will release the DNA into the mucus. So mucus will have so much of DNA content. Okay, now the DNA content which is there in the mucus, if you can remove, the cystic fibrosis we can keep this disease under control. For removing the DNA which is there in the mucus of the cystic fibrosis patient, we need to use DNase 1 enzyme. What is the function of DNase 1 enzyme? It is used for the hydrolysis of DNA. Okay, so administration of DNase 1 to the lungs of cystic fibrosis patient decreases the viscosity of the mucus. I told you already, the mucus it will be very thick because it has the bacterial DNA. So when you are using DNase 1 enzyme, the viscosity of the mucus will be decreased, and it can be used, the DNase 1 enzyme replacement therapy, that can be used to relieve severe symptoms of the disease. So when you give this DNase 1 enzyme, those people will be able to breathe properly. Okay, so this is one of the medicinally important enzyme which is produced in the animal cell culture. And below, if you can see, I have given the steps involved in the production of all these enzymes. It is the regular method of production by recombinant DNA technology. In all these process, the first thing is we need to isolate the mRNA. Once the mRNA is isolated, you have to make a cDNA with the help of enzyme. 3 enzymes are required for the cDNA synthesis. What are those enzymes? One is reverse transcriptase, second one is RNase enzyme, and the third one is the DNA polymerase enzyme. Okay, so these are the 3 enzymes which are needed for the synthesis of cDNA. Once the cDNA is ready, you need to incorporate the cDNA into an expression vector, then do the transfection. So most widely used the cell line which for the production of all this enzyme is the Chinese hamster ovarian cell line, because the production rate is high in Chinese hamster ovarian cell. And then you have to go for the large scale culture, and then downstream processing, purify the enzyme, and yesterday's class I told you how the packing and all those things are there, the same thing. Packing, then you have to check all the criteria. Once all the criteria are done, then labeling and then distributing to various hospitals for treating various diseases. So you can make a common chart for the synthesis of all these things like vaccine production, enzyme, hormone, everywhere the steps involved are similar. mRNA, cDNA synthesis, no then the ligating the cDNA into the vector, then transfection into the cell line, large scale culture, downstream processing. That is a common thing. So then draw this diagram, explain the process, and then you have to make a tabular column and write what are the different enzymes which are used for treating the disease, what is the role of that enzyme, how we can use this enzyme for treating the disease. That you need to write properly. Okay, so that will, if you write in that way, you can score good marks. Okay, so that's all about the DNase one. I'll tell you once again. DNase is an enzyme which is used for hydrolysis of DNA, and the cystic fibrosis, that is one of the most common inherited disease. To treat, in the case of cystic fibrosis patient, the mucus will be very thick. Because of the thick mucus, they will not be able to breathe properly, and there are many problems associated with cystic fibrosis. All these problems are associated because of the thick mucus. The mucus is thick because the mucus will have the bacterial DNA. Once the bacteria undergoes lysis, the DNA will be there in the mucus. That DNA can be hydrolyzed with the help of DNase 1 enzyme. Clear? I think don't have any doubt in this topic. It's very simple. Another one is another enzyme which is synthesized in the animal cell culture by recombinant DNA technology. You can produce another enzyme which is called as the adagen. Before starting with adagen, you just look at the fourth one, pulmozyme. Pulmozyme is similar. Pulmozyme is exactly same. It's a trade name of the DNase 1 enzyme, which is synthesized by different companies. Different companies will give different names. Pulmozymes are DNase enzyme which is available commercially for treating cystic fibrosis. I have written this point number 4, pulmozyme for CF. CF is cystic fibrosis. Pulmozyme is the commercially available DNase 1 enzyme. And the Genentech company, that company is the first one to produce this DNase 1 for treating the cystic fibrosis disease. Second one is adagen. Adagen is an enzyme. It is used for treating SCID. Have you heard of SCID? This you will be studying in immunology. What is SCID? SCID is severe combined immunodeficiency disorder. It's an immunodeficiency disorder, primary immunodeficiency disorder. This particular immunodeficiency, immunodeficiency means immune system is very weak. They will not have a proper immune system. So you can treat this severe combined immunodeficiency disorder by doing an enzyme replacement therapy. There are various reasons for SCID. One of the reasons for SCID is deficiency in one of the enzyme called as ADA. ADA stands for adenosine deaminase. So whenever that adenosine deaminase enzyme deficiency is there, those people will be suffering from severe combined immunodeficiency disorder. So you can treat severe combined immunodeficiency disorder with the help of this enzyme replacement therapy. Commercially available ADA enzyme, which is synthesized by recombinant DNA technology in animal cell culture. The name is adagen. Clear? So SCID you will be studying in detail in immunology. There you will understand what is the function of ADA. Next one is ceridase. Third one and fifth one you just see, ceridase and cerizyme. Both are same. That is used for treating Gaucher's disease. Now, what do you mean by Gaucher's disease? Gaucher's disease, wherein you can see accumulation of fatty substances in organ. There will be a defect in the fatty acid degradation. Thereby, in the fat deposition can be seen in different organs. Okay, that condition is called as the Gaucher's disease. Especially the fat deposition can be seen in spleen and the liver. Okay, so because of this accumulation of this fat in different organ, they will have various problems will be there associated with the Gaucher's disease. So to treat that, you have to go for an enzyme replacement therapy, and you can incorporate the enzyme beta glucocerebrosidase. Seridase is beta glucocerebrosidase. Now the function of this beta glucocerebrosidase enzyme is that will convert glucocerebroside. Glucocerebroside is one of the component of the cell membrane. Okay, so whenever the cell death happens, glucocerebroside will accumulate in the body. In the body there will be accumulation of glucocerebroside. Okay, so now this glucocerebroside usually this will be converted to glucose and ceramide with the help of glucocerebrosidase enzyme. Whenever this glucocerebrosidase enzyme is absent, there will be accumulation of glucocerebroside. Okay, so that's a fatty substance which will accumulate in the spleen and liver, that will damage the organ. So you can treat this disorder by doing enzyme replacement therapy. Commercially available beta glucocerebrosidase enzyme is known as Seridase or Serizyme. Both are similar. Earlier days they used to take the enzyme. This particular enzyme is available or it is present in the placenta, so they used to extract the enzyme from placenta and used to treat the disease. But now, because of recombinant DNA technology, you can very well prepare this enzyme by recombinant DNA technology. You can express in animal cells and can be used for treating disease. I'll tell you once again, Gaucher's disease is accumulation of fatty substances in the different organ, especially in the spleen and liver. Okay, so this will damage the organ, and this is because of a defect in enzyme called as beta glucocerebrosidase. Beta glucocerebrosidase. The function of this beta glucocerebrosidase is one of the lipid component which is there on the cell membrane, that is called as glucocerebroside. Usually after the cell death, when it accumulates in the body, that will be converted to glucose and ceramide with the help of this enzyme beta glucocerebrosidase. So when this enzyme is defective, there will be accumulation of this fatty substance in the liver and the spleen, which damages the liver and spleen. Fine. Now next one is pulmozyme. That's I told you already, similar, it is same as that of DNase 1. Next one is aldorozyme. Aldorozyme is an enzyme which is used for treating mucopolysaccharidosis. You must have studied this under another paper wherein Pavanam might have told you about this mucopolysaccharidosis. So that is a wherein this particular condition, what happens is there will be accumulation of mucopolysaccharide, and that lead to various problems. There will be accumulation of this mucopolysaccharide in the in different organs in the bone, and because of that there will be deformality in the bone, and facial feature problem will be there, and they will have so many problems associated with the accumulation of this mucopolysaccharide. And this can be treated by giving the enzyme alpha galactosidase enzyme. Okay, so this alpha galactosidase enzyme will help in the degradation of the mucopolysaccharide. Okay, so that alpha galactosidase enzyme, which is commercially available, that is called as the aldorozyme. Next one is ribonuclease. That is an antiviral enzyme. So whenever viral infections are there, viral infections can be we can keep it under control with the help of this ribonuclease enzyme. And these are the enzymes which are used for enzyme replacement. Another list of enzymes which I am going to tell you, that is to treat some of the diseases. One is prolactazyme, that can be produced in large scale in animal cell culture. This enzyme is used for treating lactose intolerance. You know what is lactose intolerance? They will not be able to digest the sugar which is there in the milk, which is lactose. So you can treat those patients by giving externally prolactazymes. Okay, prolactazymes can be produced in animal cells by using that method which I have mentioned in the last, and that can be used for treating lactose intolerant patient. Next one is streptokinase. That is an enzyme which is used to activate plasminogen. What is the function of plasminogen? Yesterday's class also I told you, tissue plasminogen activator, TPA. So plasminogen is the one which will get converted to plasmin, which will help in the to dissolve the blood clot. So people with thrombus, some people will have suddenly thrombus formation will be there in the vein, and which will block the blood supply. So for such patient, you can use this streptokinase, and another one is nattokinase. Streptokinase will activate the plasminogen, thereby plasminogen gets converted to plasmin. And another one is nattokinase, that is enzyme which is used to activate the plasmin production. Okay. Now the fourth one is uricase, that is an enzyme which is used to treat gout. You know what is gout? Wherein in the gout patient there will be accumulation of uric acid crystal in the joints, and they will have severe pain in the joint. So that can be treated by giving injections of uricase enzyme. Okay, so in the case of DNase 1, in the case of cystic fibrosis patient, whether if it is DNase 1 or pulmozyme, that will be administered to the patient through nasal spray, or no, in the case of a nebulization, in the form of nebulization. You must have seen nebulization whenever you have some breathing problem. When you go to hospital, doctor will advise you to go for nebulization. So it is like a vaporizing thing. So you have to take that enzyme through nebulizer or through the nasal spray. Okay, or inhalers are also available, so that directly it goes to the lung and dissolve the DNA. Okay, so these are the list of enzymes which are used for treating various diseases. DNase 1 to treat cystic fibrosis, adagen to treat SCID, ceridase to treat Gaucher's disease, pulmozyme to treat cystic fibrosis, cerizyme is also again Gaucher, same, it's similar, only ceridase and cerizyme. Aldurozyme, which is used for treating mucopolysaccharidosis, and ribonuclease antiviral, and prolactazyme for lactose intolerance, streptokinase for activating plasminogen, nattokinase for plasmin production. Both are used for treating thrombus formation or sudden blood clot formation. And the fourth one is to treat gout, that is uricase. Fine, that's all about the enzymes which are medicinally important enzymes which are used in the for treating the disease, which are produced in the animal cell culture. Remember that you have to make a proper production process. You when you are making the writing material for this topic, I want all of you to make a proper chart which you are going to write for the examination. Say for example, in the exam, if they ask production of medicinally important enzyme by recombinant DNA in animal cell culture, if they ask, whatever diagram you are planning to draw, that you have to draw and show me. Okay, I should approve it, and then only you can go to the further topics. Clear? So the steps involved in that I have written down. So it is your idea or your presentation skill you have to use. Make it a proper diagram and show it to me. Fine. Now the next topic is production of hormones in animal cell culture. We can produce all the hormones in animal cell culture either by recombinant DNA technology or by culturing some of the cells which are able to produce these hormones. The usually medicinally important hormones which are produced in animal cell culture are: number one, growth hormone. For the production of growth hormone, you can culture the alpha cells of anterior pituitary, that can be cultured, provide all the necessary factors which are needed for the proper maintenance of the cell. The cell will automatically produce the growth hormone. You can extract it, but the amount of growth hormone in a normal culture condition will be less, so that you can go for a recombinant DNA technology, wherein you use an expression vector, introduce the foreign DNA which codes for the growth hormone, either somatostatin or somatotropin, and put it in the expression vector, transfection, then large scale culture and production. Fine, that is about the growth hormone. Second one is hypothalamic hormone. What do you mean by hypothalamic hormone? Hypothalamic hormones are called as the releasing hormone and the inhibiting hormone. Okay, so hypothalamic hormones are usually synthesized or they are the one which will be activating the pituitary gland. You know what is pituitary gland? Pituitary gland is known as the master gland because anterior and posterior part of the pituitary gland secrete hormone, but the power of production or the activation of the pituitary gland, that is by the hypothalamus. Okay, hypothalamic hormones, examples are growth hormone, releasing hormone, the thyroxine releasing hormones, or then okay sorry growth hormone releasing hormone, and then thyroid hormone releasing hormone, okay, or gonadotropin releasing hormone. All these are coming under the hypothalamic hormone. So you can produce this hypothalamic hormone by culturing murine hypothalamic cells. Normally murine hypothalamic cells, when you culture, they'll be able to produce the hormone, but as I told you earlier, the amount will be less. You can increase the amount of hypothalamic hormone production by using recombinant DNA technology. Next is LH. LH is luteinizing hormone. You can produce them by culturing the pituitary tissues in animal tissue culture process, or by recombinant DNA technology. Okay, so luteinizing hormone, which is used for ovulation in female. Okay, in male it will stimulate the Leydig cells to activate the sperm production. So in female it helps in the ovulation. In male it stimulates the Leydig cells to stimulate the sperm production. So whenever they have a problem in all these things, like infertility issues are there, then they have to go for extra luteinizing hormone. So those luteinizing hormones can be produced in the animal cell culture by culturing the pituitary tissues, or you can go for the recombinant DNA technology. So normally if you are activating the pituitary tissue to produce, amount will be less. But if you introduce the luteinizing hormone gene into an expression vector and put it into the pituitary tissue, the amount of hormone produced will be high. Next is follicle stimulating hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone, that is also used for treating infertility. Okay, so infertility, for treatment we need a follicle stimulating hormone. So this follicle stimulating hormone can be synthesized by culturing rat pituitary cells or sheep pituitary cells, or you can go for recombinant DNA technology. Next is thyrotropin, that can be synthesized. That's a thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay, so thyrotropin is a thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyroid stimulating hormone control the activity of thyroid gland and to produce T3 and T4 hormones. So whenever that there is a defect in those hormone, we need to give externally this thyroid stimulating hormone, which can be produced by culturing sheep pituitary gland, or you can go for recombinant DNA technology. Next is insulin. It can be produced by murine pancreas tissue, but these days recombinant DNA technology is used for the production of insulin. So insulin is used for treating diabetes. Next is lymphokine. You remember what is lymphokine? Lymphokines are the one which will activate the T cell maturation. Okay, so we can, if the lymphokine defect is there, there will be defect in T cell. T cell number will be very less. T cell maturation won't be happening, because for the movement of the T cell to the thymus, that is because of the lymphokine, which is also called as thymotactin. So whenever lymphokine defect is there, T cell maturation won't be happening. So you can activate the T cell maturation by giving or you can externally you can give the lymphokine in the form of injections. It will be given, so to activate the T cell maturation, so that your immunodeficiency won't be there. So the lymphokines can be produced by T cell culturing, or you can go for a recombinant DNA technology, wherein lymphokine gene will be isolated and put it in the expression vector, transfection, large scale culture, and then purification of the lymphokine. Okay, so that's all about the production of hormones in animal cell culture. You have to make the diagram. Okay, as I told you, you have to show me, make a proper neat tabular column and write the function of this enzyme. Okay, function of the name of the hormone, what is the function of this hormone, and how you can produce this hormone by animal cell culture technique. Okay, so that's all about the production of enzyme and production of hormones. Thank you.